Private equity is all about finding an edge, right? But what if the biggest untapped value in your portfolio isn't where you're used to looking, like in pricing or sales, but it's actually hiding in plain sight? Today, we're going to go beyond the standard playbook and uncover 3 powerful levers that can seriously boost your returns.
So let's start with a really important question. Are you sure your portfolio isn't leaking value through some kind of invisible drain? Because for a lot of firms, the biggest opportunities and honestly the biggest risks are hiding exactly where they least expect them.
And get this, the numbers here are just staggering. When you've got unmanaged cloud costs and tangled old infrastructure, it can create this massive drag, wasting anywhere from 20 to over 50% of a company's annual tech spend. And that's the crucial point. While most value creation plans are laser-focused on the usual suspects, pricing, sales, procurement, they're totally missing the elephant in the room. A huge source of untapped value is sitting right inside the tech organization, just waiting to be unlocked.
But here's where it gets really surprising. Operational efficiency is a top priority for pretty much every firm out there. Yet less than a quarter of them are systematically going after these powerful, tech-focused levers in their value creation plans. It's a huge gap.
So before we jump into the solutions, it's really critical to understand the problems. We like to call them the silent killers. These are the invisible forces that are quietly eating away at performance and dragging down EBITDA. I mean, just think about the impact of this. Your most expensive, most innovative talent, your engineers, are spending up to 40% of their time not creating new value, but just firefighting old issues and dealing with rework. That's your innovation potential, literally being erased. And look, this isn't some minor leak. It's a massive financial drain, adding up to over $370 million in enterprise waste every single year. This is the kind of drag that stalls innovation, delays roadmaps, and puts a hard ceiling on how fast you can grow. All right, so let's dig into our first lever, engineer productivity. This is all about tackling that waste head-on and transforming the engineering team from what's often seen as a cost center into a powerful, measurable value driver. We can actually put a name to this core problem: engineering drag. You know, it's that constant pull from the past, the maintenance, the bug fixes, the legacy systems, that keeps your most valuable technical talent from building the future. The playbook to fix this is actually pretty straightforward, but it's incredibly powerful. First, you have to link engineering work directly to business KPIs, so everyone's rowing in the same direction. Second, you embed this idea of continuous improvement right into the team's daily rhythm, so it becomes a habit, not some special project. And third, you automate everything you possibly can to speed up releases and get rid of manual errors. Okay, on to our second lever. And this one tackles another one of those silent killers: complexity. You know, for companies that have grown really fast or through a bunch of acquisitions, their systems get tangled up and create this huge hidden cost. The solution? Architecture's simplification. Think of it like this. This complexity acts as a tax on every single new project you try to launch. A fragmented, tangled tech stack just introduces risk and friction that makes the whole company slow, inefficient, and way less able to react to what's happening in the market. So how do you fix it? Well, you start by rationalizing your applications, basically getting rid of what you don't need. Then you move to modular designs that are way easier to build on. And finally, you standardize how all these different systems talk to each other. When you do all that, you're not just cleaning up code, you're dramatically lowering your costs and making the whole business more agile. And that brings us to our third and final lever, which tackles one of the fastest growing and, frankly, least managed expenses in any modern company today: cloud costs. You see, without really strong governance, cloud spend can just spiral completely out of control. We're talking about a potential overspend of 40 to 60%. That is a massive and often totally unnecessary drain on the P&L. To really get this under control requires a disciplined 3-part approach. First, you need visibility into costs, using what's called FinOps, or financial operations, to track spending in real time. Second, you have to make sure your engineering decisions are aligned with financial accountability. And third, you've got to be constantly reviewing and optimizing your usage to cut out the waste. So after all that, why does all this technical stuff matter so much to a private equity owner or a C-suite executive? The answer is actually pretty simple. It is a direct path to increasing the value of the entire enterprise. And this is maybe the most important takeaway of all.
These aren't just IT savings that get lost somewhere in a budget. Every single dollar you save through better engineering, simpler architecture, and smarter cloud governance flows straight to the bottom line. It's a direct boost to EBITDA, which means a direct increase in your exit valuation. And the benefits go so far beyond just cost savings. By pulling these three levers, you're building a fundamentally better company, one that's more agile, more secure, more resilient, and ultimately a heck of a lot more valuable. So the big takeaway here is clear. It's time to stop treating technology as just a cost center. It is an indispensable engine for value creation, and the firms that figure out how to harness it are going to be the ones that win.
So, we'll leave you with this question. Now that you know where to look, in your engineering teams, in your architecture, and in the cloud, what hidden value are you going to unlock first?